Hello, welcome to CAD and Engineering by JS. Today we're going to continue reviewing circles and arcs in Autocad. The second part, we're going to dedicate our time today to learn how to draw arcs. The shortcut for the arc command is A. So you type in the letter A, press enter, and then you activate the command. There are several options to draw the command. The one that are shown here in the center, they repeat themselves just in different order. So from these 6 options, we actually have only 3 that just are presented in different order. In addition to that, we have these 2 more on the left, and then we have 3 additional ones shown at the bottom, which they don't use their normal regular rule in AutoCAD, which is drawing arcs in a counterclockwise direction. Before we continue, we should pay attention to the nomenclature that is used when you're going to work with arcs in AutoCAD. This is very intuitive. I guess the main one that we should pay attention is the length of the chord, which is the distance between the start and the end of the arc, and also the direction, which is a line that is tangent to the arc at the start. Now let's go and open a file in AutoCAD and play a little bit with the different options to draw arcs. Let's start drawing some arcs in AutoCAD, and we're going to activate the command. We're going to use the first option, 3 points. Let's click on it, and following the prompt, you are asked to select the first point. In this case, I'm going to select the one on the left, then the next point, second point, and the third point, and you have an arc. I'm going to repeat the command now to show you. I'm going here counterclockwise, selecting the points, and I'm going to do it now clockwise, and the result is the same. Click on it, and then you're going to select the first point, second point, and third point. So it is independent. It doesn't depend on the order or the direction in which you select the points. Let's do another one using AllSnap. In this case, we're going to select the endpoints of these 3 lines. 1, 2, and 3. So this is an example of how to draw arc using 3 points. Next, let's use the second option. In this case, start, center, end. Let's click on this option and start drawing our arc. The first prompt is to select the start point. I'm going to click on this point, then the center point, and then the end point. Pay attention how the arc is drawn counterclockwise. Now I'm going to draw the same arc going in the opposite direction. I'm going to activate the command again, start, center, end. So I'm going to start now, and I'm going to start selecting points in the other direction. Start, center, end. So you see how in this case it is still going counterclockwise, but the result is on top, above the center. In the first one, it was below the center. Another example using AllSnap. In this case, let's select the same option, start, center, end. So we're going to use the end of the line for the start point, the midpoint for the center, and then this end point for the end point. Another example of drawing the arc, and we can use another one using AllSnap. In this case, I'm going to use the first endpoint of this line for the start, the intersection of these two lines for the center, and then the end of this line for the endpoint. Start point, center, endpoint. Again, pay attention how the arc is drawn counterclockwise. Now I'm going to do the same example, but starting in the opposite way. So start, center, end. I'm going to select the start point as this endpoint of the line. The center is going to be the same. Now pay attention, the arc is being drawn counterclockwise. I'm going to press the control key, hold it down, and then the arc goes in the opposite direction, as you can see. And the endpoint, and click, and then let go. Let's continue with the next option, start, center, angle. Click on the arc command and select start, center, angle. In this case, the angle will be the included angle between the sides from the center to the endpoint. So we're going to start, in this case, with these 3 points that I have marked. So select the first one, start, then the center, and then you can use, in this case I have a point, otherwise you can enter the angle, click, and you have your arc. Keep in mind that if your angle is negative, then the arc is going to go in the opposite direction. Let's try that in this case. So let's select start, center, angle. So this is the start, this is the center, and now the angle, we're going to type in -45, and that's the result. Let's continue with the next option. In this case, we're going to use start, center, length. Let's activate the command, and we're going to select the first point for the start, the second point for the center, the length of the chord. In this case, we're going to enter 1.25. Now, if we measure that distance, it's going to show exactly that length, 1.25. Let's now draw another arc, but in this case, we're going to use the length. It's going to be negative. We're going to do it both ways, positive and negative, so that you can compare. When you use a negative length, then you're going to have an arc that is greater than 180 degrees. So let's activate the command again, start, center, length, select the start, select the center. Now for the length, we're going to enter -0.75. And let's verify the length. If we measure the length of the chord, is exactly that, 0.75. Now we're going to repeat the same example, but we're going to enter the length as a positive number. So I'm going to erase this arc and the dimension and repeat. Let's activate start, center, length. Following the prompts, you have to select the start point, then the center point, and now you're going to enter the length of the arc. We're going to enter a positive 0.75, and you see the difference. The length is still the same, but because we use a positive number, it goes only that much. And always pay attention, always it is drawn counterclockwise, the arc. Let's continue with the next option, start and angle. Let's activate the command, start and angle, and we're going to select the start point, the end point, and then pay attention how it goes counterclockwise. But if we want to switch direction, we can press the control key, hold it down, and then the arc goes the opposite way. See, above or clockwise. I let go the control key and it goes in the opposite direction. When you enter the angle 45 degrees, you have your arc, and that's the included angle between the sides from the center to the end points. Let's try another example. We're going to draw this arc between the endpoints of these two lines using 180 degrees, positive and negative, to show the differences. So we'll activate the command, the option start and angle. We select the start point, the end point, and now the angle. We're going to just type in 180. And you can see it goes counterclockwise and it's under the lines, right? In the lower section. Now I'm going to erase this one and try it again, but in this case I'm going to use minus 180 degrees. So let's activate the command start and angle again. Select the start point, the end point, but now my angle is going to be minus 180 degrees. And the resulting arc is above the lines. The next option is start and direction. Let's activate the command. Click on this option, start and direction. And this option doesn't take into consideration the fact that arcs are built normally in Autocad counterclockwise. So let's select the start point, the end point, and then the direction is actually the angle between the line tangent to the first point or the start point of the arc. You can see here, if you want an angle of 45 degrees, that's what you get. Let's play with it. Let's say 90 degrees, that's the arc that you get, and a little bit more, 135 degrees. So let's draw it at 45 degrees. Let's try another example and draw an arc using all snap between these two lines that are collinear or parallel to each other. So start and direction. We select the start point, we select the end point, and then the direction. And you can see, depending on the angle, in this case, this will be the resultant arc with 90 degrees. Or if we can keep moving, this would be 45 degrees above the lines, and this is 90 degrees above the lines. That's the result. Another example for that we can use this for start and direction. I'm going to select the start point as the end point of this line, the end point is the end point of the second line, and then depending on the angle that we're going to use, if we use 0 degrees, we're going to have this nice arc blending the two lines. We can use that to create slots, or if we move in the opposite direction, that's the result. So I'm going to use 0 degrees and click, and that's a resultant angle. And finally, let's review the option continue. In this case, you're going to draw, let's say, an arc, and then select this option, and an arc is going to be drawn. There is tangent to the last point, and the only thing that is required is the last point of that arc to finish. So to start with, we're going to draw first an arc, let's say a 3-point arc, 1, 2, and 3. And after that, immediately after that, we're going to select continue. And you can see that the new arc is tangent to the last one, and you just have to specify the endpoint. Let's say we want to have whatever distance, in this case, the length of the chord, 0.5, and the angle, 0.5. Tap, and the angle 135 is good. And that's the result. Another example, you can have a line, and then you want to have an arc that is tangent to that. So you use right after you finish drawing the line, you use continue, and now you have your arc. Here, for example, I'm going to use 45 degrees, and let's say 0.6 for the length of the chord. 0.6, type in 0.6, then press tab, and type in 45 for the angle, and that's the result. So we have reviewed the options to draw arcs. Remember that the arcs are created in a counterclockwise direction, and there are only 3 cases where you don't, or the program doesn't follow that, and it's for the 3-point start and direction and continue. Let's now solve this simple example in Autocad and draw this figure using lines and arcs. I started a new drawing in Autocad in inches, and we're going to draw the figure that we just showed using lines and arcs. In this case, I'm going to have the dynamic input on, and also I selected the polar tracking to be set to 45-degree angle increment. Let's start by drawing the first line. Select the line command, click, and then move to the right, and the length is 3.125, and press enter. Then the next line is going to be parallel to this one, and the distance is going to be 2 times 1.875. So you can use a calculator, and I actually already have the calculation here, but you can enter 1.875 times 2 and use that number, 3.75. So let's activate the line command again. Hover over the endpoint, move to the right, and type in 3.75. That will be the start point of our second line, and then we're going to move to the right and type in the length, 3.125, and press enter. Now that we have the 2 lines, we can draw the arc. We can use for that the option Start Center Angle. We know that the start point is the end point of this line that I'm pointed to. The center will be the midpoint between the 2 lines, and the angle is 45 degrees. So let's use Start Center Angle. Click the start point. We're going to select the end point. For the center point, I'm going to use Alt Snap over Right, press the Control key and right mouse click, and select mid of 2 points. And then I'm going to select the first point, then the second point, and my center is going to be right there in the middle. And now I just have to use 45 degrees from my polar tracking and click. So I have my first arc. Now the second arc on the other side, we're going to have to use the minus 45 degree angle so that it goes in the opposite direction. So let's repeat the command. Start Center Angle. Select the first point. Now the center point, we use Alt Snap over Right again, and select mid between 2 points. Select the first point, the second point. That gives us the center. And now for the angle, we're going to type in minus 45 and press enter. We have the 2 arcs. Now we can draw a line between them. Next, we need to draw the line that starts at 1.25 from the midpoint. So let's click on line, hover over here, let's track the midpoint and move up. Type in 1.25, which is the start of the line, and then it'll go all the way to the midpoint. Now we have 3 endpoints that we can use to draw an arc using the option of 3 points, 3-point arc. We select the first one, second one, and the third one. Let's add some dimensions to verify that our drawing is correct. First, the angular dimension. Click on the angular dimension, click on the arc, move away 45 degrees, and now the length. We have the height of this point, 1.25. Then next, we have the distance from this endpoint of the arc to the center. And finally, the length of this line. In this case, I need 3 decimal places, so I'm going to click on the 3 dimensions, right click, and then use precision and change it to 3 decimal places. And this way, we can use arcs and lines to draw something like we just did. As we just reviewed, there are many options to draw arcs, but in general, you will find that using circles it's easier than arcs, started with the fact that you don't have to consider the direction in which you're creating the object. And you can also use circles and then use some other editing commands like trim in order to finish your task. I leave you with one exercise for you to practice. In our next video, we're going to review polylines, rectangles, and polygons. I hope this video was useful. Please subscribe to my channel, provide comments and any ideas. They are very much appreciated. Thank you.